What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jared Williams Show. Today, we're going to talk about why 95% of plumbing businesses fail, and it's actually pretty simple to fix. Welcome back, Mr. Eddie Barkhurst. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm always happy to be here.
You look super happy to be here.
Dude, I'm ready.
I don't know why that was so funny, but it was. You couldn't have said that with more of a deadpan face.
That's my style.
I know. It's funny. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Before we get going, check out our sponsor, PlumbLine, 24-hour call answering service. They can be your CSR. They can be your backup CSR. They can be your after-hours CSR, and you only pay per booked call. So if you guys have a plumbing business, electrical business, HVAC business, we use them for our pressure washing business even, any home service business, you're spending a ton of money on marketing. Don't let that money go to waste. Answer your freaking phone. It's literally like, you want to know why 95% of plumbing businesses fail? That's probably reason number one. They don't know how to answer the phone, book a job, go to the job and make money. PlumbLine handles that first portion of you. They're going to answer your phone and book the calls, and they're really good at it. So quit wasting your marketing money. Go to plumblineanswers.org and check out PlumbLine. Plus, if you mention you heard from them from the Wealthy Plumber or Jared Williams, then you get 1 week of free booked calls. So make sure to mention that. Get a free week of calls. Test it out. If you love it, great. If you hate it, cancel it. You're going to love it though. So go check it out. So if you're a plumber running your own shop, then this is the episode for you. Especially if you just started, or you're a one-man show, or you're 2 to 3 guys and you're struggling. 95% of plumbing businesses fail, and we're going to talk about why that is, so that everybody who's listening to it can avoid that failure. And I split it up into a few different parts because I'm awesome like that. We got part 1 through 5.
Okay.
We're going to talk about them all. And there's probably a few we missed, but we'll think of those as we go.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to guess, what do you think the number one reason that most plumbing, electrical, HVAC businesses fail?
They're winging it too much in too many areas.
Winging it in too many areas. What do you mean by that?
There's like no real structure in place. It's just kind of, if the calls come in, I'll go to them. And then once I go to them, I'll fix it. And then once I fix it, I'll collect the money. And then once I'm done with that, I hope another one comes in. And so there's just a lot of parts missing.
Yeah. Not
a lot of processes in place.
Yeah.
Likely there's probably not somebody answering the phone, or there's not, or one person is trying to do too many things.
I agree.
Am I close?
You're close. I mean, yeah, we'll touch on all that stuff. But so when I was starting my business, I remember thinking about starting up. I'd started J&J Mechanical, and then we did remodel and new construction work with a partner, and it was fun, but it didn't work that well. And I could see the writing on the wall. So I shut that down. And then when I was thinking about starting again and going into residential service, because I could see that like that's where the money's at. It's in residential service. You can scale it, you can get paid. It just seemed like the way to go. I remember being in my brother's basement working on his boiler, and he was sitting there watching me. And I remember telling him, like, I remember my thought pattern. Like, I'm going to quit, and I already called everybody around town. I know what they're charging. I'm going to charge a little less. I'm going to make all the money.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome. I'm going to have tons of freedom. I remember thinking, because I was running a lot at the time, I remember thinking I was going to be able to put like my running shorts and my shoes in my van and like go for a run in the middle of the day.
And how often did that
Never.
happen? Yeah,
that's how ignorant I was, right? The first week when I quit, I had zero work. The second week, I got this job putting in a boiler, and I would leave in the middle of the day and go to Lulu's Bread and Bagels, and get. They have the best
You love
BLTs.
that shop.
with sourdough bread and pretty good coffee. Anyway, I go there every day for lunch to get coffee, and I was like, I'm living the dream.
This is it.
This is so cool. And then the next week, I got too busy to do that. And then I just got busier and busier and busier and busier. And it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I wasn't making enough money. I was like, dang, this is not what I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. So if we get into part one, like if you think about the core problem that all of the other problems arise from, we call it the technician trap. So just like I started my own company and I was very in this like technician mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to answer the phone. I'm going to do all the calls. I'm going to do all the scheduling. I'll do all the billing. It's no big deal. And you're just in this like technician mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the mind to think about the business as a whole or those kinds of things. So you get stuck like doing everything. And then I'm not bald, by the way. I don't know. Some people think I'm bald because I wear a hat all the time. I just like wearing a hat. And even if you get to the point where like you get some, like most people would hire a technician. Like, oh, I'm too busy. I need somebody to go do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so they hire another technician, and then that technician is out. Like you send him out to a job, and he's trying to bid something, and he's calling you on the phone, and it just creates more mess and headache.
Yeah.
And it gets even worse. And then you make less money because now you're paying somebody to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you were doing the work, you didn't have to pay somebody. Now, granted, you were just taking little table scraps. You're taking the profit from the company. But now you got to pay somebody, which typically means there's no profit left over because you're probably not priced right. And you don't know what to do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You get stuck in this. All you're thinking about is the plumbing and the work. And if I do more, I'll make more money. But you're not thinking about all of the roles that the business needs, all of the financial aspects, the call volume aspects, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks bad. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And so you get stuck in technician mode instead of being a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gap that you're going to have to make. And hopefully this episode will help.
Yeah.
So that leads us kind of into part two. So part two, there's basically 4 roles that every plumbing business needs at its core.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking like these 4 roles will get you to 5 or 6 million. Easy. There's the technicians.
Yep.
The CSR or CSRs, the manager, and then there's the owner or the entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, you're trying to wear all those hats, and as you grow, you need to get rid of those hats.
Yeah.
And people typically try to do it in a backwards fashion.
A lot of managers being hired before there's any employees or too few employees for a manager.
Yeah, and that's because they don't understand the business side of the things,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the technicians is easy. Like everybody understands that one. That's the person you send to the home to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple. The CSR stands for customer service customer service what?
Representative.
Representative.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I know my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Customer service representative. I've said CSR for so many years now. But I remember when I first heard that term, I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's a CSR?
Yeah. You mean
And
the office lady?
The office lady? Yeah. I need an office lady. No, you
Yeah.
need a customer service representative.
Mm-hmm.
Their duty and roles are really you have ways that your customers are going to reach out to you to get work.
Mm-hmm.
That person's role is to take that incoming lead and turn it into a booked job and put it on a schedule for your technicians so that your technicians can then go run that call.
Yeah.
It's basically their job.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, you're the one doing that. You're taking the phone call, you're getting the email, you're getting the text message, and you're reaching out to that customer or talking to that customer and setting up a time to go to their house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're the technician, so you're going to their house.
Yeah.
After that, there's the manager. And the manager's job is really to, make sure that the CSR and the technicians are doing their job. That's really it.
Yeah.
Like, some managers are going to design the system or at least take the system that was put in place by the entrepreneur. That was the case in Prospector with our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then improve that system and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're likely better at it because you're a manager, not an entrepreneur. And you're going to just make sure that the calls are coming in. The CSR is getting those calls answered on the schedule. The technicians are going to the jobs, selling the jobs,
Mm-hmm.
creating high enough average tickets, and then completing the job, collecting the money, the whole 9 yards, and then the process starts back over again. We're oversimplifying this.
Yeah.
But that's the gist of it, right?
Yep.
So you're there, you're more of like the leader of the team would be a good way to say that. So you're looking at the process or all the processes, how they tie together, what they are, and you're leading the team and making sure that stuff happens. When I grew Prospector Plumbing, we'd grown it like that year we did, because we brought you in October.
Mm-hmm.
And we hired guys 6 and 7 and you all at the same time. And then that year we did 2.8 million, and you came in and it was like this, like barely tied together system. And there were a lot of holes and a lot of mistakes being made. It was like just enough to get by.
Right.
Barely.
Yeah.
And it was like ready to fall apart. And then you came in and slowly got that thing and turned it into a well-oiled machine. That's how I remember it.
That's how I remember it too.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything in particular, but I would ask, so what do we do in this case? And you said,
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Use your better judgment.
Okay. You said that a lot.
I did say that a lot.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing to say.
This means I'm figuring it out. You don't have, like, it's not that you don't have a preference, but it's just like I have the framework that you want to operate within, so then get a good outcome while staying inside that framework.
Yep.
That's basically what you asked of me. And I said, okay, sounds good.
I'll do it. Yeah. You betcha. What was the framework?
The framework was like, keep in mind our core values, and our ideal customer and how we want to serve that ideal customer. And so whatever problem you're trying to solve, just keep that in mind and then get that outcome that we're looking for.
Yeah.
And so it was, okay, don't get whatever you do your best not to get 1-star reviews because of the quality of work or the technician attitude or appearance or anything like that.
Yep.
1-star review because price is fine, but 1-star review because we did a terrible job is unacceptable.
Yeah.
So inside that framework, change the process and make it better.
Yeah.
If you have
And
to
we need to
step
make
outside
money.
of that framework,
Yeah.
obviously make money.
Yeah.
If we have to step outside of that framework to get the outcome, then that's not really the outcome that we're looking for, or we don't want to sacrifice here in order to get a job done on time.
Yeah. Okay. So you were the man of the hour, basically. The manager is the unsung hero of the business.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. Because like growing Prospector, I got it together as much as I could. Like, I'm a terrible manager. You know that. And so I had like the idea and I was willing to take the risk and push forward on it and like think about big picture stuff. But when it comes down to like the day-to-day things,
You hated that.
I still do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not good at it. It's not where my area of expertise is, I don't think. And so bringing in somebody whose area of expertise is that, the manager, Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the manager, the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the person who's typically started the business. Typically, they live in the future. They're usually a little more, I don't know, creative, maybe have like a creative kind of mindset. And so you're the entrepreneurs, like that position is setting the vision, coming up with the strategy of how we're going to get there and what that looks like. And they take that vision and that strategy and they say, here is the idea. Here's how I think maybe we should implement it. Go for it.
Here's the basic parts. Fill in the rest.
Fill in the rest. Yep. So those are kind of the 4 roles. So in the beginning, you're the technician, you're the CSR, you're the manager, and you're the entrepreneur. And typically, if you're the entrepreneur, you've learned to be pretty good at a technician role. You can probably do okay in the CSR role. You're probably pretty bad at management role, would be my guess. And then you don't know what an entrepreneur is yet.
Sure.
So you get stuck down in technician CSR. So as you grow, if you envision this as like an org chart with the entrepreneur box up top, the manager box underneath that, and then the CSR technician boxes underneath the manager, you need to take those hats off in that order and work your way up that org chart. But you have to have the cash flow and the resources to be able to take that hat off and pass it off onto somebody else.
Yeah.
So if you're going to, like, this is one that everybody gets wrong. They always want to go hire a technician. They're like, I just have too much work. I just need somebody to do the work, and then I can handle the scheduling and take the calls and talk to the customers and all that stuff. And I'm a big fan of people hiring a CSR first. So start your business, go out there, and when the call volume, when you start not being able to answer the phone or get back to your customers in a timely manner because you're too busy doing work, or you're having a hard time getting the work done because you're always getting interrupted by phone calls from customers and all that kind of stuff, that's when you need to hire a customer service representative. That word is not in my language bank. And because what happens is, like, if you hire a technician, like we talked about earlier, that technician creates more headaches for you, the owner, because now you're the manager of somebody else.
Yeah.
You're the CSR and you're a technician. Versus if you're the only technician and you hire a CSR, yeah, you become the manager of the CSR, but that person takes so much time off your plate. It's ridiculous, and frees up your headspace to just go be a technician.
I suppose there may be an exception to this in that if you just have a ton of cash sitting around and you can afford to hire a CSR and a technician at the same time, I mean, would that be an exception?
Sure. Or there's probably people listening to this who aren't the technician, and they need somebody out there to be the technician because they're not a plumber. They're not a plumber. They started a plumbing business. Well, then, yeah, you hire the technician, you play the CSR manager role until you have enough technicians out there to afford to hire a CSR. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
That's probably the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, definitely. So if you start out as a technician, you hire that CSR, she's going to free up a bunch of your time. She's going to run your schedule for you. She can follow up on accounts receivable. She can follow up with customers and make sure they're happy. She can follow up and make sure you're getting 5-star reviews, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And then you, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., can just go run calls and produce revenue. And your revenue is going to go up drastically.
Yeah.
When you make that jump. So now you can stack more cash, run more calls. You can take some of that cash that you're stacking, like the amount of cash that you stack is going to offset the cost of the CSR if you time it right. And then you can take some of that cash and go spend it on marketing. And then that's going to create call volume to be able to get another technician in there. And And this way, when you bring on that other technician, that CSR is already set. She already knows how to answer calls, put it on the schedule, send that new technician out. And all you have to do is train that technician on how to go to the job, how to bid the work, how to collect the money. Done.
Yeah.
So, and if you do it backwards, it's giant headache.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yep.
I've seen guys do it backwards and it doesn't work out very well. So then another thing we see people do is they'll have like 3 people out in the field and they'll have 2 CSRs and a manager in the office. They'll have a CSR, they'll have an office manager, and then they'll have an operations manager.
Office manager, dude.
And
you don't need that.
no, you don't need that. And then there's 3 people out in the field that have to support 3 people in the office overhead, plus the owner. It's craziness. So you need a time when you hire these people to keep cash flow positive. If you try and hire a CSR before you have any call volume, then she's going to cost you more money than she makes you. So you need to wait till your call volume is pretty decent to where she saves you enough time answering phones to where when you take that time and go produce revenue with it, you produce more revenue than what she costs you.
Yeah.
You offset her cost with the revenue that you can produce
Yep.
with the time that she saves you. With a manager, it's the same thing. As you hire technicians, so like I think it's typically around 3 technicians out in the field, 3 to 4. It allows the owner of the business to step out of that technician role and into the management role. So he gets to take off that technician hat. So now if you think about the org chart, we just took off the 2 bottom hats. CSR, technician, hats are gone.
Yep.
Thank God.
Now you just got to be the owner, entrepreneur, and
The manager.
the manager.
Yes. And you really only need to be the manager long enough to get a good manager in there, hopefully.
Just keep it together.
Keep it together. Come on, man. And so what ends up happening is you have all the cost of running your business. And when you split those costs between 3 technicians and you're priced properly, then you will make enough cash flow so that you don't have to be out there producing revenue anymore. Those 3 technicians can produce enough revenue to support a CSR and you in the office as the manager, entrepreneur. That's like the next step. Once you have, it's typically like 6 to 7 technicians out in the field. If you're priced properly, then those technicians will produce enough revenue to be able to hire a actual manager and have the entrepreneur in that entrepreneur seat. If you do it any sooner, then you're not going to be bringing in enough cash flow for everybody to get a paycheck in the office.
Right.
Without raising prices drastically, which you can try and do. The hard part is then you're putting your technicians out there with much higher prices that are higher to convert, and they're going to have a rough time.
Yep.
So ideally you would math all this out on a spreadsheet so that you know exactly what you need to be priced at, when you can hire new technicians, when you can hire that manager.
Does anything like that exist?
Dude, it does. How dare you ask that? You can go to wealthyplumber.com and get our free hourly rate calculator. It's an hourly rate calculator, but it's like a budgeting tool.
Yeah.
So you can build a calculator for where you are at currently. You can build one for what it's going to look like when you have 3 guys. You can build one for what it's going to look like 3 guys and you're not out in the field anymore. You could build one for what it looks like when you're 7 guys, you're not in the field, and you have a manager. And you can put all those costs in and then put how many technicians you have. And you can see what your hourly rate is going to need to be at each stage in the business. So if you plan it like, okay, at 3 guys and me out of the office, I got to be $430 an hour. Well, if I have 6 technicians and I hire a general manager and now I got to be $560 an hour, I should probably get 1 more tech. Let's see what happens when I have 7 technicians and I hire a general manager. oh, now it can be 4:30 again.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So that's when you hire a general manager.
It's like taking a look into the future to see what's going to be there, what's going to be required.
That's the beauty of spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
You can look in the future
Mm-hmm.
to the best of your ability, right? And make better decisions.
Yeah.
Data-driven decisions
Mm-hmm.
instead of emotional. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Technician, CSR, manager, entrepreneur. Hire the CSR, then start hiring out technicians. You play the manager, entrepreneur, then hire out the manager roles. And then you just have to play the entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll get you to $6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might have to hire another CSR, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So Prospector did $6 million with 2 CSRs, 8 technicians, 1 manager.
Yep.
You might need more than that, depending on where you are. Like we were in Alaska, its cost of living up there is high compared to Florida. Plumber wages are high compared to Florida. So like down here to do $6 million, you might need 12 or 15 technicians and 2 or 3 CSRs and a manager.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yeah.
And that might sound like a lot to some people, but it's still relatively simple. It's not too terrible.
Yep.
Okay. So that trap is basically not understanding the roles and how to replace yourself as you scale.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like a number 2 reason of why they fail. And really, honestly, like the trap, like we talk about this all the time, like not being priced right. You'll never go from technician to having all these roles if you're not priced right.
Right.
It just doesn't math.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll forever be the technician if you can't get those prices up and figure that out.
Yeah.
Again, go to wealthyplumber.com, get the free calculator. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
While you're there, join our school group. It's $99. Best thing you'll ever do.
Good investment.
Dude, great investment.
Mm-hmm.
The information in there you can learn for $99 a month has made me millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like the return on that investment, if you just do it and actually listen to the information and implement it, everybody that's come in there that has actually gone through the information and then actually implemented it to the best of their ability and asked questions along the way when they got stuck, they are all making millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person who has ever done that.
Yep.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you don't know. It's just a little bit of information is the only thing holding you back from being successful.
Yeah.
That's it. It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Part 3. You got all those people. The third part that holds people back is building systems that work without you. So I've seen people get general managers and technicians, and they're still running around like a chicken with their head cut off because there is no way of doing business. You should have, really, you should have a way of doing everything.
Yeah.
Everything should have a way. You're way better at that than I am.
I love that type of stuff.
Yeah. But if you don't have a way that you answer the phone and book calls, and then you get another CSR and she does it differently, and
you'll hear conversations like, what they want you to do is this, but the way I do it is, you want to avoid all of that mess.
Avoid all of that. So we need to have phone scripts that they follow when they answer the phone. There needs to be a process for this is how we book a call.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a standard process of this is how we run a service call from start to finish. And then there needs to be manuals so that everybody knows, oh, this is everything that I do, and this is how I do it. Sounds treacherous, but it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not, when you get into it, it's not that hard.
No, kind of developing it or looking at what you have and saying, how can I create a system out of this can be kind of a difficult task.
Yeah.
recognizing what you need and where you need it. But once you start to put those systems in place, it's, at least for me, it makes me look at everything else and say, okay, how can I make a system for this too?
Yeah.
What can I do to make this thing a system as
Dude,
well?
Explain a system. Like just pick one and be like, this is what it is. So that, because like when I was back with 3 technicians and I was in the office, the manager and the entrepreneur, people would say, oh, you need a system and a process. And I was like, what the hell is that? How do I do that?
So I just want a way to do the thing, whatever it is that I'm trying to do. I just want a way to do it that I can do it the same every single time.
Yep.
So that usually means step 1, you do this. Step 2, you do this. Step 3, you do this, and then you got it done.
Yep.
And so you want to find every area that you can implement a system on, so that you can one, provide consistent product to every customer that you see. So like your service calls, if you have a system in place for the way you run calls, then this customer.
Like, give me an example
of a system.
Yeah. What is this like? What would a typical service call system look like?
Okay. So for us, it was the technician operates off a Service Titan. He first thing he does, he gets into his van and so let's say it's Monday morning, we go through our meeting and then we do a van inspection, and then he gets in his van ready to go to his first call. He looks at it, sees what the call might be. He knows his truck is already stocked. And his uniform is squared away and he's ready to go. He hits the dispatch button. It sends a text to the customer as soon as he hits dispatch, lets him know he's on the way. He goes to the job and then hits the arrive button. As soon as he gets there, he goes and he greets this customer the same as he's greeted every customer in the past, and walks up to the door, knocks on the door, introduces himself, talks to the customer by first name, ideally. And then like you can get as detailed as you want. I told the guys, don't ever like push, even if it's 40 below and I don't want to be outside and they don't want their door to be standing open. Don't say, hey, my name's Eddie, and just kind of start pushing into their house. You say, hey, I'm Eddie with Dude Wash. I'm here to take care of whatever, or I'm Eddie with Prospector. I'm here to look at your boiler. And then wait for them to invite you in, and then you get in, and I always take off my shoes. Even if they said leave your shoes on, I always take off my shoes. And we have our greeting in the beginning, and then I say, okay, so what is it that you called me out here for? And then we go to the garage and we look at the boiler, and then I have my step-by-step of writing the customer estimates, and then I present those estimates, and then we kind of go over everything. And there's just like, I want to be able to do the same thing every single time.
Yep. That
way, this customer gets the exact same product as every other customer in the past, as every customer in the future, so that it's, one, it gives me a lot of repetition, so I get to become the best at it. And two, this customer doesn't call their friend who recommended us last week and say, so I had this guy over and he took off his shoes and he wrote me these estimates and we talked about them. And she then says, the guy that came over from them stomped snow through my house, didn't write me more than one estimate, just said, we're going to do this, and said, sign here and I'll get it done. Like those two, now neither one of them knows which one is the norm, knows which one to expect of future work from you. So it's inconsistent. We don't know. We can't predict what we're going to get from this company. That's not a good thing. Think about McDonald's and Starbucks. You've said it yourself. I don't drink coffee, but Starbucks coffee is the same on this side of the country as it is on the other side of the country.
It's the closest to consistent coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the best.
Nope.
But it is consistent.
Yep. If I'm traveling and I'm not somewhere where I know that has good coffee, like Seattle or some hip town like that, like if I'm anywhere in the South, I'm going to Starbucks because I know it's not going to be garbage. It's at least going to be like Starbucks coffee.
And for coffee drinkers, like that's a big deal. Like you don't want to roll the dice on on something as important as a cup of
Yeah.
coffee.
Nope, you did not.
And so if I'm even if it's not much money to you, if it's $6 or $7, I still don't want to waste $6 or $7 plus the time of finding another coffee place
Yeah.
to get a product that I can predict. And that's
Yeah.
what all of our customers want. That's what plumbing customers want, is just some measure of predictability.
Well, plus the other roles in your business need that predictability as well.
Sure.
Like the CSR needs to be able to predict the outcome that the or the steps that the technician is going through, so that she can do her job appropriately, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And same with the manager. Yeah.
I can see, as the manager, I can see that 3 estimates have been written, I imagine, and nothing's happened seemingly on the CRM. I haven't seen anything change for 10 or 15 minutes. He's probably presenting.
Yep.
And so if he's presenting the estimate now and things go our way, he's probably going to sell some work. On average, he'll sell maybe 4 hours of work. So if it's 10 now, then I wouldn't expect to hear from this guy till 2. And so like we can predict and plan out the day if you have a consistent system in place on how that whole service call process works. And then if he does sell something, I can look at those estimates and I can see this one's $750, this one's $1,000, this one's $1,500. So then I can predict that we're going to get between $750 and $1,500 from this call. And so then, I mean, you can make all kinds of decisions moving forward on that if you're able to have that system. The system gets followed, and then you can make your future plans off of the things that you're seeing. Incredibly important to have systems in place.
I agree. So when you write a system, is it just, I wrote the system, I'm done, it's complete, I'm never going to touch it again?
No, unfortunately, no, it's not. Sometimes it's written and you don't have to touch it for months, maybe years. Sometimes it's written and you don't have to touch it for another few hours. And then you adjust, and then you true it up, and then you make it better, and
until you get some butthead in.
And
he
then you
breaks the
start
system,
writing new systems.
Yeah. Okay. So, moral of the story: everything should have a way that you do it. This is how we do it here. This is how we answer the phone. This is how we book the jobs. This is how we run the calls. This is how we present options. This is how we write the options. And then all of that stuff needs to make it into some sort of written document. And then you can train your people on that written document. And if you want pre-built systems, join the Wealthy Plumber School Group. It's $99.
They exist.
Go to our website. There's a big button that says join school group. You get a 7-day free trial. Grab the systems for free for all I care. All right. So part 4 is working on the business, not just in it. When I think of working on it, not in it, it's like, even just like, I mean, in the beginning, like working on it could be like building your price book, working on your hourly rate, building some simple systems to get you going. But also a lot of that is just, thinking about next steps, setting up new software.
That's huge.
Like all the stuff that's not out in the field, basically. And so a lot of times what happens is people get stuck in this technician mode and they literally just don't have the time to work on the business. So getting that CSR to run your schedule for you, answer phones for you. What I did when I was out like growing prospectors, I would book time in the morning from like 6 a.m. to noon on Thursdays. Thursdays were our slowest day. So I said 6 a.m. to noon, this is my time to work on the business. And so like if I was wanting to get on Service Titan and I had to have a Zoom call or a sales call or whatever, it got booked on Thursday. And my CSR knew all this stuff. So anytime anything came up where it was like, oh, Jared needs to work on this, it was put it on my Thursday list of stuff to do, please. And she would build out that list for me. And then Thursday morning would come around, I'd wake up extra early, get my stuff done, and start working on the business. And oftentimes I'd get up even earlier and I could get like 8 hours, like a whole day's worth of work, and then still go run service calls in the afternoon.
That sounds like Ed Milet.
I got 3 days in one. I still don't know what he meant by that. But so if you never find time to work on the business and you're always working in it, you're just going to get stuck working in it.
Yeah.
So you have to set aside some sort of time to do those admin tasks, like not estimating and that kind of stuff. That's like you're in it. When you're building estimates, you're billing customers, that's in it. You need to set aside time to like move the business towards the next step, whatever that is that you need to do.
And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't have the context of it. So it's difficult to understand. But I know for me and you, I'm your GM at Prospector and I'm handling the day-to-day stuff.
Yep.
And my plate's full of 8 technicians and 2 CSRs and we talked before I get the distillation of all the problems that they can't solve. You get the distillation of all the problems that remain that I can't solve.
Yep.
And so then, I can't work very deep on certain things because I start focusing on this one task and I can't get very far because my phone's ringing or the CSRs need something or a customer walks in or something like that.
Yep.
Van breaks. And so I'm not able to work super deep on certain things. But you as the owner in that case, once you've removed all those other hats, it allows you the time to not have to work on the day-to-day stuff, and it allows you to dive deep on a certain task and really drill down and figure out what's it going to take to solve this problem.
Yep.
And you don't get that luxury if you are wearing owner, manager, and technician hat. You don't get to work as deep on the business because you're just super swamped in the business.
Yep, I agree. It becomes way easier. Like business just gets easier the more it scales.
Mm-hmm.
Like Prospector in the early days was hard.
Yeah.
Dude Wash in the early days, like right now, is hard. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out. There's still a lot of problems to solve.
Mm-hmm.
But then at scale, you have money to offset your problems and you have more brain power and more resources and it becomes way easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know for me, like when I was stuck just on the wrenches, it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second I started going, okay, I actually got to like figure this business stuff out and figure out how to grow my business and then set aside time for that. That's when it all took off.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we went from basically just me in the truck to 7 guys and 2 CSRs and a GM in 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just when I started setting aside those times to start putting this stuff in place, actually think about how much should I be charging the customer?
Mm-hmm.
What does it cost me to run my business?
Yeah.
How much time do I have available to bill out?
Or if I adjust this metric, then our hourly rate changes like this. And we made lots of switches like that ended up changing the technician's ability in the field and raising average ticket and easing the stress on them, which then made them more productive and then they made more money. And like all of that stuff doesn't come from being bogged down in the day-to-day. That type of stuff comes once you're able to dive a bit deeper on it.
Yep, I agree. Okay, part 5, vision and growth. So this is kind of a big one because when we're typically like raised to think small.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us don't think very big. I think social media might be helping that a little bit. Like you get to see other people think bigger and that kind of stuff. But even then, I think we kind of underestimate ourselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or we underestimate where we could be at in 3 to 5 years versus like where we think we can get. And so I know for me, like when I started Prospector, when I started it originally, it was just J Rod's Plumbing and Heating. And I was like, I just want to make a little bit more money and not have to work so hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want employees. I didn't want any of that stuff. That was a lack of understanding on my part.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I got there, well, I never really got there until I started Prospector. And when I started Prospector, I was like, okay, I've I've done the business where I'm the sole guy and it sucks. So I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
I was like, I just want to get like 3 techs out in the field and I'll handle all the office stuff. And then I got there and then I was like, man, this still sucks. Like I'm still tied to this thing. So it was like, I want to get to a place where I don't have to come here every day. So then when I got there, I was like, oh, this is like really cool. And then it was like, I want to make this thing make more money. And then we got it to make more money. And then I was like, I wonder what it's like to sell a business. So then we sold it. And the whole time, like I was just thinking like one step ahead. Never really had like a huge vision or anything. And it's crazy because all that happened in like 3 or 4 years. And like millions of dollars were made and my life has changed dramatically. I moved to Florida halfway through that. And so, and if I had like thought of that stuff from the get-go, just had a bigger, like, where do I actually want to be in 5 years? What do I actually want my life to be like? And then said, okay, I'm going to design this company to provide me that and live life more by design, then it happened fast, but I'm like I think Tommy Mello says he's a 2-decade overnight success.
Yeah.
And I'm like the same way. I started my business originally in 2016. And so fast forward to today, 9 years later, the last few years have been really successful for me, but those first 6 were not.
Yeah.
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 And had I back in 2016 been able to have the foresight that I had later on in life, I probably could have done it way back then.
I don't know about for you, but I know for me, I was raised with the attitude of if someone's rich, they probably did something terrible to get that kind of money. And so it was kind of built into my mindset that like equating rich with
Unavailable.
immoral
Yeah.
or did something illegal.
Yep.
And so if you want to be immoral or do illegal shit, then go ahead and become rich, or you have to do those things in order to become rich.
Yep.
And everybody that had money was kind of looked down on, not looked down on, like they were in a much better position than we ever were. That's for sure. But like, talked down about a lot of if you were rich, you were evil, probably.
I know why now.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to get rich and build a business that operates well, and you're going to step on some toes. Like people are going to come in and they're going to be turds, and you're going to have to make tough decisions and fire people. And
they're going to feel wronged.
And they're going to feel wronged, and then they're going to go talk about how evil you are. And it's a lack of understanding on their part, for the most part, from my experience.
From my experience as well.
But I can see why people think that. And then, like, I grew up kind of the same way. Money was the root of all evil. And what's funny is if you read that scripture verse, it's the love of money is the root of all evil. And so I remember my mindset changed around all that when I read The Science of Getting Rich. And he just put it out there real plainly, like money is just a tool. It's a resource. So I believe we were created. And so he poses the question of, like, if you were created by God and he calls you to do all these things in the world, and the tool that you need to do all those things is money, shouldn't you go get as much of that money as possible so that you can then go do as much good work as you possibly can? And I had this like click in my brain. I was like, oh, totally. Yeah. And then ever since then, I've seen it in action, and it's even more powerful than I could have imagined it back then. Like, because I went out and tried to get more money, it created opportunities for other people to get more money. And then because they got more money, it created more opportunities for that person, and so on and so on and so on and so on. I think it's awesome. Yeah. It's kind of like my life mission now is just go get as much money as possible
Yeah.
to create as much opportunity as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's how the world becomes a better place.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. So back way up though, it's like people should be thinking a little further out.
Yeah.
So try not to think so small, like I just want to be a technician
Mm-hmm.
or I just want to have a real small shop. I can tell you right now, it's going to suck. But if you're like really go for something that you don't know that's possible, like push yourself to think a little bigger and go, that sounds scary to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can achieve that.
If you want just 1 or 2 technicians, then you should just find the company that you like the best and go work for them.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You're not going to agree with everything, and you're not going to, you'd wish some of their processes would be different. And if you had your own, you'd do it this way. But like, if you want just 1 or 2 techs and you to be one of them, then just find some place that you can tolerate the most and then go work for that person.
Yeah. And if going and working for that person sounds absolutely horrific, then think bigger about your business.
Yeah.
Because the freedom that comes when you get to a certain level of success with a certain amount of money and the business is big enough to be self-supported,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you start getting that freedom. Anything less and you lose freedoms.
Yeah.
It takes over your entire life and it's miserable. So part 5, I mean, just think bigger, think farther ahead, challenge your own thinking and your own thoughts and go for it. If you read like the Think and Grow Rich is another great book. And it's like everything, both of those books, like if you haven't read The Science of Getting Rich or Think and Grow Rich, they're going to sound really strange when you first like read them. I remember the first time I read them and I was like, man, this sounds like crazy voodoo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now I go re-listen to Think and Grow Rich every single year and I'm like, this is 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the idea that like, if you can think it, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
And that if you actually believe it, so like take an idea that's scary to you and doesn't seem possible and then go, okay, I'm going to go for this. And then make it so like concrete in your mind that you have no option but to achieve this thing.
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood of you getting it is very high.
Yeah.
Like chances are you will go get the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between like people who go out and do crazy stuff and people who end up doing nothing or limiting their success to minimal.
Yeah. If you can imagine like your future life, what it is that you want, and in as great a detail as you possibly can, like what it feels like, what your house will be like, what your life will be like, what your family will be like, if you're moving from one place to another, what the climate feels like, what the smell feels like, what you're going to see every single day on your way to work or whatever. Like the more detail that you can stuff into that, the greater your chance of actually making that come true. And so you need to spend time. The first place I ever heard it said was Brad Lay said it on his podcast, and he may have heard it somewhere else. But since I've heard the same basically principle repeated from other people in other ways. But like if I said you could have anything that you want, whether that's a car or a house or a material possession or a certain type of lifestyle, all you have to do is think about it every single day for 5 years. Would you achieve that thing? The average person would say no, I can't do it. I can't think about it every single day for 5 years. I'm not telling you to take a certain amount of steps towards it every single day. All you have to do is think about it and having it and driving it or owning it or using it or being in it every single day for 5 years. Would you be able to have it at the end? You would be able to have it if you do that every single day for 5 years. Now, if you miss a day, the clock starts over again. But if you can think about it every single day for 5 years or 2 years or whatever, you will have it. Absolutely. And again, the more detail you cram into that, into those thoughts, the more likely it is you're going to have that thing.
Yep. I think everybody should go design their ideal life, which is a harder task than you would think.
Absolutely.
Because you start getting into like, you start discovering baggage that you have in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you go find a house that you think is super dope and it's $2 million and you start telling yourself,
I don't deserve that.
Yeah, I don't deserve that, or I don't need that. But then also you start getting into the like, oh, well, what do I actually care about?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I remember going and designing.
Why do I want this thing?
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
So like, I can tell you right now, I could care less about having a $2 million house that brings no happiness or joy to me in any way, shape, or form.
And I want a big house with glass, floor to ceiling, massive house. I think I do anyway.
So to me, I see that and it's headache and unnecessary, and I want simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, what I want is the freedom to create and do anything that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes me the happiest. And I don't want to be limited by the resources at hand.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't.
And all of us are to an extent.
Yeah. And I hate being limited. And every time I find a new limit, I'm like, okay, well, I don't like this. So let's raise the bar so that I don't have this limit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I have I've spent the last 2 years probably just thinking about this very topic.
Yeah.
What is it that I actually enjoy or brings me joy or makes me happy, that I will be on my deathbed and say, that was freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
I think if you play the deathbed game, the house kind of is like, I mean, maybe it's cool.
Sure.
But it's
super comfortable.
Yeah. But it brings you back to what do I actually care about?
Mm-hmm.
That's much harder to nail down than I want a cool car or a cool house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny about cars and stuff is that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want a McLaren.
I don't either. I don't care about I like nice cars, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And there are cars that I would like to have.
Yeah.
But really, I think I'd be happy in just getting I drive a Chevy truck. I would be happy getting a new Chevy truck every so many years.
Yeah.
I don't need anything too crazy.
Yeah.
Supercars I don't care about.
Nope.
You can't drive more than 43 miles an hour on the way to work anyway. Yeah. So I don't care about that type of stuff.
I think that's why it's so important to think about and plan your ideal life and then say, okay, what does that actually cost?
Mm-hmm.
What does it actually cost me to live my ideal life per year?
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a dollar amount. That's something that's concrete that you can strive for.
Yeah.
And then you can design your business around that dollar amount as well. So if you're super happy with $500K a year coming in profit that you can spend after taxes, well, that means you need to make, I don't know, $800K before taxes. And an $800K profit business, if it's 20% net profit, needs to do X amount of revenue, right? So now okay, I got to build this big of a revenue company. You can go get the hourly rate calculator from wealthyplumber.com, and you can say, how many technicians do I need to build that company? And now you've got this
you're designing the future.
And now you have this clear path from where you are to your ideal life.
Mm-hmm.
And you can probably achieve it in that 5-year time frame.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da Vinci said, I heard, I can't remember who said it, but Da Vinci said that God will give you anything you want just at the price of labor, meaning you can have anything that you want as long as you work towards it. Just put in your labor, working towards it, and you can have anything that you want.
Yeah. And the work is fun, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you hate it, then you're in the wrong.
Well, so I've always hated having a job and going to work for somebody else, but the working on part of what brings me joy is building things.
Mm-hmm.
And so working on building a business is actually really fun to me. And so for me, when I designed my ideal life, there is a dollar amount,
Mm-hmm.
but that dollar amount doesn't mean I stop working on building things, because the building of it is what brings me
Right.
a lot of joy. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if I didn't have that, if I didn't have work to go do or something to go build, I would feel useless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I take a lot of pride in a job well done and optimizing and making things better. Like, I know that the thing that we're doing right now is good, but I'm sure that it can be done better. I want to figure out how to make it better, do it
Yeah.
better. And that usually comes with a reward of more earnings
Yep.
or something similar. I love doing stuff like that.
Same. Well, to recap, beware of the technician trap.
Yeah.
Scale yourself out of those lower level positions up the ladder. In the meantime, balance those roles as best you can, and then build systems that make your company run smooth, and
Mm-hmm.
figure out what you want and how you're going to get it,
Mm-hmm.
and then go for it.
Yep.
And if you want help with all that, join the Wealthy Plumber School Group. We'll help
Yeah.
you out. We have, I think by the time this airs, we'll be 1 week out from our Wealthy Plumber Hoorah event. We didn't even really pitch it on the podcast a whole lot. I pitched it in the Facebook group and in our
It's
school
too late
group,
now.
but
All the tickets are gone.
it sold out a month before the event. So if you guys want a ticket, you can't get it, but it'll be on our website. You'll be able to come next year. It's gonna be super cool. I'm
Mhm.
excited. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. Yeah, got Ellen Rohr coming down.
There's going to be a lot of good people there.
Yeah,
A lot of cool business owners there.
yeah, it's
It's
gonna be
going to
fun.
be a good place for good connections for sure.
Yep. So keep an eye out for it next year, guys. And if you're coming, we'll see you there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, dudes. Yeah.
See ya.